Yo, this is Etienne Bowie, and this is the New Left. When I came up with the idea of the New Left, um, I knew it would be a media company, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted it to be a left wing media company. Now, why did I choose media, and what does that have to do with connecting it with politics? Well, I felt like there was a lot of other political organizations and groups out there. And actually, I'm involved in a lot of other political groups and organizations. The Democratic Party, the Democratic Socialists of America, and also the Green Party. I have friends in those organizations. I have history in those organizations, and I like to tell people that I really have my roots in from starting when I was very young in politics as really more of an anarchist. Um, I mean, think about the Antifa. That's really where my position was. But of course, over time, I've become a little bit more moderate, and I'm more of like a progressive. And I think I've always been a liberal. I always been believed that freedom, individuality, the right to be how you want to be. But at the same time, I've always looked at the economic issues, and that's what really made me a progressive. And also the social issues, not just basically giving lip service, which is like liberal, but actually wanting to do something about it. And I think what makes me a progressive is I just hate the establishment. I've always been an anti-establishment type of person. I was an anarchist, okay? So that makes perfect sense. And now I'm thinking that politics and media are infused. Basically, we live in a modern day neo propagandist system. And what does that mean? What that means is we basically have to, more people are more interested in messaging and imagery than they are interested in hardcore facts, research, and analysis. They don't really want to sit and read something for an hour or 2 hours and do all the homework to understand what's really going on. They prefer to find people that they can trust and they can look to do all the work for them, and sum it up in something simple and easy that they can consume in 1 minute to 2 minutes rather than an hour to 2 hours. So I knew that's what would have to be done with the new left. Then the next thing I thought is basically, as a socialist, I am a socialist. Now, does that mean I'm a socialist like the USSR, the Soviets, or I'm a socialist like Mao's China, or even China today, or am I a socialist like Venezuela, Nicaragua, or anything like that? No, I'm not a socialist like them. I think the only thing that we all have in common is looking out for the lower person. That's the only thing I see that I have in common with them. I'm a socialist that I actually believe in a little bit of capitalism. I don't think capitalism is the end all and be all, nor do I think that about socialism either. And that's because my roots of studying economic and finance, and also studying politics, and actually monetary systems and finance and business. Um, Now, all those things are economic topics, but they have a lot of variety and difference. Like, for example, financial and monetary policy has a big differing effect from economic policy, which is like socialism and capitalism. Monetary policy is really different from that. I've started to think that I have a responsibility to explain more of those things. People get confused political systems with economic systems with monetary systems, and I just bring all these things together and say, well, capitalism is evil, where socialism is evil, well, the MMT is evil. Like, these are systems, dude. They're not evil. People are evil. Let me make that clear. Don't blame ever an economic system. You can blame a political system because political systems is all about people. You can blame a social system like caste system, or our sexist system between men and women, or like the racial systems. You can compare those systems, because they have to do with human behavior. But you cannot blame really economic system. They more reflect human behavior. Like, if you're racist and you have a capitalist system, the capitalist system will reflect racism. If you're sexist, same thing, right? That's where you get prostitution, things like that, right? Because they reflect the capitalist, the sexism in our society is being reflected through capitalism, right? So money becomes at the core of that. But at the same time, money itself has nothing to do with capitalism, has nothing to do with socialism. Money is the monetary system, and that's when people talk about MMT, which is modern money theory, or money mechanics, right? That has really something to do with capitalism and socialism, but really that is more about currency and, like I said, the monetary, which is how exchange works, right? You can exchange through barter, which is, hey, I have apples and you have chickens. How many apples is worth a chicken, and how many chickens is worth an apple? Okay, that's barter. But we changed all that over time, and we went into more of a financial system where it's based on currencies and whatnot. And then you have MMT, which takes that to even a further degree in the creation of money, right? And we can even do a whole segment on that, and I'll break that down for you. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. I just wanted to glaze over those things a little bit. What we here to talk about is, what is the new left? Where is the new left going? And just some of my opinions on what's going on in politics right now. So, okay. Back to what the new left is, right? The new left is going to be media, because that is where politics is. Neo-propagandism, right? That means using propaganda in a new way, digital format, visual, visual in literature and ideas haven't really changed. What's changed is basically the format. What's changed is some of the tactics, right? Because the way people consume information has changed. So we have to change with the times. And I don't want to hear anybody saying like, propaganda, oh my goodness, he just said that. Everything's propaganda. Advertisement is propaganda. If you learned about marketing, you learn that a lot of the tactics they use is from propaganda. It's from military tactics as well. Targeting, you know what I'm saying? Also, supply chain. All those things are from military, type of wording, right? Segregate. All these things, So you have to understand that as well. If you don't understand the history, a lot of military people added to our economic systems. Well, obviously because the history human beings have had with war. So what we have to do as leftists and as socialists in this new world is we have to update our software, dude. We have to upgrade to the 21st century. That's the way we talk about our movement. That's the way we organize our movement. And that is the way we actually envision the future. One thing I noticed is from the left wing is a lot of hate for technology, even though we use it more than people on the right, right? We are technology people, but somewhere we hate AI in order ever. We can't stop AI. We cannot stop technology, the new technology revolution. What we have to do is try to mold that revolution the way we want to. Similar to how we actually did that in the past, and we turned that into the New Deal, right? And we turned that into the antitrust fight against the robber barons, right? We have to do the same thing today. That's why we are the new left. We're not the new left. That was the people between basically, I would say, 50s onward to today, right? That's the old left. A lot of baby boomers in that group. I mean, that's the new left. The old left is actually like FDR and people going back even further. I'm not going to do a whole historical thing. I did a little bit of video about that. But today, we have to realize that we have to, because the new left hurt the image of leftism altogether so harshly with, politically, what's politically right to say or not, politically correct, right? Identity politics, all that. Even though that's not new, and that's not just exclusively in the left wing, that's also seen on the right wing as well. But we have to escape the little bickering, kneecapping one another. That means like just player hating on one another and slowing each other down. We have to bring together the Green. We have to bring together the Democrats. We have to bring together the DSA. We have to bring all these groups together. It's not even really about, and we have to bring some of the people in the center too, and people who just not even interested in politics. We got to bring them in too. And that's why I'm trying to start this. It's going to be a co-op as well. That means that everybody that puts in, if you join the group, you're going to get out of it. Today, we might not make money. But in the future, when you make money, whatever you contribute, you'll be getting out of it. And of course, those people contributing the most will get a lot out of it. But those who help build it will get out of it too. And we can build something that people can start their careers and go somewhere with it. If that's art, if that's culture, if that's like writing, if that's also just political ideas and analysis, and it can also be local and it can be, organic. It doesn't have to be because someone else told you. I don't want to control language too. We will not control language. The only thing we will do is uphold to guidelines, because we're not going to allow you to discriminate against other people. We're not going to allow you to use hateful language against other people on our platform. Our goal is to further the discussion. And, I firmly believe that is a leftist philosophy. The freedom to speak, the freedom to think openly. So that's what basically the new left will be about. Right now, we are working on a website. So I'll have that up soon. I'm mostly working on that by myself. We've started the planning and organizational committee. We've also started the editorial board. So we'll be getting more information out to you. And if you're interested in getting involved in any of those groups, the planning and resource organizational committee is really mostly about discussing, structured things like the website, all those, business forms, stuff like that. So if you're really interested in the structure and the planning of the overall organization, you'll be interested in that. If you're more interested in, the actual writings, the reports, the articles, and the videos and stuff that we're going to be putting out, then you probably be more interested in the editorial committee. Things are going to really start moving fast over the next month because the website is a big deal. But one project I'm specifically working on is going to be something about the Green New Deal. I've noticed a lot of people just been hating on the Green New Deal. And I think it's up to us to actually get out here and to show people the difference between the funding of the Green New Deal and the spending side of the Green New Deal. Basically, how do we raise taxes to pay for the Green New Deal, and what's responsible taxes to raise for the Green New Deal, and also what's responsible programs for the Green New Deal. And I want you to know a lot of things Ocasio-Cortez said, we can accomplish those. It just depends on how much energy and how much money do we want to put on it. And if we got the money. The United States makes close to $21 trillion a year. Our debt is basically around $22 trillion. So we can pay off our debt and we can grow the economy, but where do we want to take money? And remember that the United States, the country itself, is probably worth close to like $100 trillion. $100 trillion in wealth. But they keep telling you we can't do it. And that's, we're going to even gain more wealth over time. Right? Because we're one of the biggest economies in the history of humanity. So if you're interested in getting involved in that project, you can let me know too. We're going to put it up on the website, and basically you're going to be able to scroll down, and on this side you're going to have all the spending. So you're going to have healthcare for all, paying off student debt, free education for all, early childhood education, infrastructure spending, spending for a Green New Deal. Also, I got some stuff in there for like tax cuts for corporations that would lower really tax cuts, because I think it's important on our funding side to just tax the wealthy. When you just tax business, you tax everybody in the business, and you tax everybody as well who is also investing in the business, and you're taxing those who work in the business, and also you're taxing the people who pay for the products. Because think about it like this. If you raise taxes on a business, I'm a business person. What I'm going to do is just raise my prices to cover for that taxes. And then your actual price for your service is going to cost you more. No one ever, like, in a business model, like, doesn't account for taxes. They all account for taxes. So if you just raise business tax, it won't do anything. So if you really want to get at the problem, it's taxing people for their wealth, which is the money they already have in all the property they have. Then, but don't want to tax it ridiculous amount, right? And you want to tax people who are extremely wealthy, like it's nothing, 1%, 2% for them. And also, and that means over a certain wealth threshold, you will be taxed. Like most people do not make over 50 million a year. Like that's less than 20,000 people in the whole economy of over 180 million adults in working people. Okay? Realize that. But at the same time, we can tax ourselves. But you want to lower business tax as low as possible as you can. So people like myself creating business and then other business people can just do business. If you're interested in business, you won't be harmed. But if you're interested in just sucking out wealth, then we'll get you for that because you're not contributing to the economy. And so I think that's what we gotta use our tech skills to simplify that, and maybe we might even turn that into an app. I don't know. I'll let you guys know more about that in the future. Other than that, I think that's enough right now. So we really need you guys to get focused. The whole left wing. That's why I put my heart into this, and I'm gonna see where it goes. Because I want to believe that if I put the tools out there for people and they use those tools, then we can have a transformation in the way politics and media is produced in this country. So again, and just to give you my view, I already feel like right now I'm straight up with Bernie Sanders to endorse him, to help him actually win the presidency. And I'm not hating on Kamala Harris. I'm not hating on Elizabeth Warren. I like Elizabeth Warren as well. I'm not hating on Cory Booker, and I'm not hating on Amy Klobuchar or even Tulsi Gabbard or any of the other people running. The reality is Bernie Sanders has been for all these ideas since the beginning. I voted for Hillary Clinton in the primaries, and I voted for Hillary Clinton in the final. And why did I vote for Hillary Clinton? I voted for Hillary Clinton because I felt that, the political system will never let somebody like Bernie Sanders win. It's more important to just basically vote for Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders should join with her, and then we'll win. Bernie Sanders joined with her, and we lost. Why? Because Hillary Clinton wasn't a good candidate. And I feel like I took my heart away, and I just put an analytical cap on like a political thinker. And that was the stupidest thing I could ever done in my life, because we lost the opportunity to transform our country because a lot of us were thinking like that. Like politicians, instead of thinking like Americans and thinking about everyday people. And I forgot that. And I had to slap myself in the face for that. I had to sit there and just watch Hillary Clinton lose like a fool. And I felt like a fool with her because I supported her. I didn't go out there and campaign for her or anything like that. Like a lot of other people, right? Because none of us really liked Hillary Clinton. We just fell in line. And that was the most dumbest thing that we ever did. Bernie Sanders really believed in the things that matter for us. And he was going to fight for them. And now we owe it to him to just trust him and go for it and work with him. If we was willing to give somebody like Hillary Clinton a chance that none of us liked, then of course we could give Bernie Sanders a chance. Come on now. That we actually agree with all his actual platform. And the only people talking about they don't agree with his platform is when they careerists. So they connected with other people who don't like it. So they just regurgitating whatever they say because they trying to look out for their career in the future. Well, forget them fools. Then the other group is rich people. They hella rich and they so out of touch that they just tell you like, oh, who cares about education for all? Who cares about healthcare for all? Because I got that. I'm good and I got money. You can probably get where I am. You're just too lazy. They are fools. They don't know nothing about what's going on in the world. And they need to wake up and realize that all their success is not just because of them. And it's because what we built in this country, which millions and millions, and probably billions at this point, have contributed to. So that's my view on that. And Kamala Harris, this is where I stand. How the hell you gonna call yourself progressive when you became a prosecutor? Obama called himself a progressive, but what was it, Obama? A community organizer. What was Martin Luther King? A community organizer. What was Malcolm X? A community organizer. I can go on all day. How many people chose to be progressives and then chose to be a prosecutor, and then as a prosecutor, they didn't do nothing? Then you tell me, oh, I was doing my job. Well, why did the prosecutor, the district attorney in basically Baltimore just said we're not going to look at weed cases? I'm not going to prioritize that, and if I see that, I'm not going to take that serious. Oh, I thought you couldn't do nothing as a prosecutor because that's your job. No, you're a sellout. I'm not saying that like you're a sellout to black people. No, you're a sellout as a progressive, first of all. As a black person, you're just telling, I'm a black person. And I'm a descendant of slaves. So if you tell people that's DOS or ADOS or whatever you're calling it, that they shut their mouths because you're just hating on me, you're being disrespectful right there. And then you're calling them Russian bots? You ought to watch that right there. Because that's dismissive to progressives who highly respected the Black Lives Matter and all those groups who actually, I don't favor protesting all the time, but they actually made a change to the discourse of what's going on in this country. And in history, they'll be seen as the modern day civil rights. Now, either you can accept reality or you can just be ignorant of reality. And then you tell us you're progressive, you have a vision, but obviously you can't see 2 feet in front of you. Because at one step, you're sending people to jail because they didn't go to school when they're in poverty. The next thing, you're sending people to jail because they smoke weed, and then you said you smoked weed. How is that progressive? I'm going to lock people in jail for something I did. I have a record from weed, all that drugs, drug war, all that. I have a lot of people in my family who went to prison. I went to jail for all that. You destroyed my life. I was in jail at the time when you were a person that was a prosecutor and you were also a district attorney. And I remember getting marks on my record because I walked across the street jaywalk. And I couldn't get that off my record. But then you got people over here destroying people's lives in banks and all that. And they just get a slap on the wrist. Get out of here, Kamala Harris. Get into reality, man. Stop trying to sidestep when you do wrong things. You want to say Oakland and progressive. You know what that means, Oakland and progressive. That means Black Panthers. Black Panthers. Kamala Harris, Black Panthers would put in a prosecutor to lead them? Stop woofing for 1 minute, for real, dude. It's just almost laughable when you think about it. Think Cory Booker. Let me just be real with you for 1 second, dude. You a good person, Cory Booker. You really are. I really like you as a person, man. You're a nice dude. All those things that you did, you also descended of slaves too, Cory Booker. And you know, that's important for us because Obama, we supported him. He was not descendants of slaves. So he didn't really care about reparations and different issues, which I'm not going to get to in this video right now. But Cory Booker, you are a front, man. You only care about money. Like, you a good person at heart and you do things, but then when it comes to doing real things, that's about losing money. That's called a careerist, dog. You are a careerist. And when it comes down to whoever got the money, whoever can give you to another position, then you will actually do something about it. Bye, Felicia. That's all I got to say. When we was talking about healthcare, all them things, you didn't have nothing to say when you got elected. And I was putting up a lot of work for you to everybody. When you got elected, talking about I am Spartacus. Dog, you is not Spartacus. So cut it out. Did you see the movie, the I Am Spartacus moment? Dog, what are you talking about? They said, hey, we let all y'all go, we let all y'all free. But you know the person right now who come up, and if he come up and say, I am Spartacus, or who tell us who Spartacus is, we will let you all go. And whoever Spartacus is, we're going to kill him. That's what you was the I am Spartacus moment? Get out of here, dog. You were not an I am Spartacus moment. So that right there says a lot about you, just a front, dude. So, you know what I'm saying? Get real. And you and Kamala Harris, you want to talk about black, black, black. Go to the black community. Go down there to Chicago, Southside Chicago. Go down to East Palo Alto. Go over there to East Oakland. Go out there to LA, South Central and all that. Go out there to New York. Go out there to the Bronx. Go out there to Brooklyn. Go out there and go talk to people. Go out to Detroit. Go out to Flint, man. Be seen out there. Helping people. Say like, hey, I'm working on this water thing right now for the Flint people. But nah, Michael Moore's handling that more than you guys have ever handled that. So don't give me all this. Oh, when I become president, I'll do something, but this whole time I've been a senator, this whole time I've been a district attorney, a mayor, I ain't doing shit. Get out of here with that. We're done with those type of behaviors. Kirsten Gillibrand and then Amy Klobuchar, you guys just want to jump on the bandwagon. And then when you jump on the bandwagon, you want to say, no, actually you can't do all those things that I just jumped on the bandwagon for. Hey, Medicare for all, let me jump on the bandwagon. But actually, nah, you can't have Medicare for all. Universal health care. Universal health care is Medicare for all. How else is it universal? So don't take other words and other terms and transform them to something else. Education, yeah, well, let's get that. But we're not going to really get that. We're going to make it more affordable. What's more affordable to you? So if you're going to say that word, more affordable, I want to hear what that number is. More affordable healthcare, what that number is per year. More affordable education, what is that number? Because I know what that number is to y'all. 10,000, 20,000. That's more affordable for y'all. That ain't more affordable for the average young person and the person living in America today. Again, showing that you're so rich and privileged. And again, when they asked you, Amy Klobuchar, this is what it's for. When they asked you what one thing when your life was completely destroyed and you had to depend on other people, what was that thing? Oh, it was nothing. I didn't actually have to depend on anybody. It actually was a political thing. It shows about you, Amy Klobuchar. You never had to face homelessness. You never had to face prison time. You never had to face if you could get this job or get that job. You never had to face really sexism because everything you tried to do, you got there. And you were willing to sell out your own sisters trying to make something for themselves at the bottom. Sexism, racism is mostly faced by those who are marginalized and at the bottom, not the people at the top.